saying I am where I'm supposed to be over and over again. And then a thought comes into your mind of, oh, I'm supposed to be somewhere else. That's not a problem. The thought is not a problem. We don't need to suppress that thought, or we don't need to cling to that thought as, oh no, that's right. We just take the thought in. I am where I'm supposed to be, but I'm feeling like I'm supposed to be somewhere else. We don't make that thought wrong. We then access the cortex to sort it out. Am I supposed to be somewhere else? Am I supposed to be here in this moment deciding to be somewhere else? And then the switch, the change of where we are, or the effort at least, isn't coming from resistance or judging or seeking control, any kind of negative attachment or any kind of desire. It's just an honest question of like, well, what was said before? What's the general agreement? What are the expectations? Are those reasonable expectations? If we're expecting the primitive brain to sort through that, especially if we're worried about our self-image and we're filled with fear or desire, or we're trying to get safety, power, freedom, belonging, acceptance, and respect, if we're full of resistance and judging and seeking control, how the heck are we supposed to know where we're supposed to be? So if we start from a place of, well, I am where I'm supposed to be, but I'm open, and I'm going to access these 16 billion neurons to determine if now it's time for me to go somewhere else. If I'm supposed to be in the process of moving from where I was to where the mind is now proposing I go. And so then, maybe we look at the clock, see what time it is. We search our memory for what was said. We consider other things that have happened in our lives that are similar, and if the parties were reasonable in terms of their expectations. We really connect the cortex to the hippocampus to sort through all the memories. If we're in urgent mode, if we're operating under the amygdala, then we're going to maybe not sort through all the memories. We're just going to find memories that reinforce this belief that we're bad or that we're justified and others are wrong. It's an oppositional framework, and memories are used like propagandists to boost that up. And I would submit to you that the primitive mind, the primitive brain, may have a vested interest in perpetuating resistance and seeking control and judging. I mean, it's doing it because it believes it's right, but it also feels safer when it's the one in charge. This idea that the cortex is just a bunch of neurons spitting out ideas that don't have to be listened to or don't have to fulfill any need, and this whole idea that we are where we're supposed to be is contrary to the primitive brain having control. That being said, the primitive brain does have 12 million neurons and knows that the cortex does have higher concepts, better ideas. The primitive brain knows that the primitive brain tends towards negativity and resistance and suffering. It can read spiritual books or neurology to see that. So that is why it doesn't resist, ordinarily, the repetition of the phrase, I am where I'm supposed to be. All it takes is a shift of not interpreting that statement from the lower mind, the primitive brain, as a condemnation. Oh, I'm here because I messed up, I'm bad. Or self-justification, I'm here because I'm really great. No, it's just I am where I'm supposed to be because here I am. There's no other explanation that is required to justify this moment or to put it into a story. We're just still in this moment, not resisting it. And from that state of peace, we can then reassess and say, well, now should I be somewhere else? What change needs to happen? It's not from the primitive brain. It's from the cortex being requested to assess, is there really a danger here? Do I need to worry about my obligations or my responsibilities or my health? Then you have wisdom and non-attachment and compassion.